What's up, guys? This is Tabletop Vibes. I'm here with Steven. And
Hello.
We are talking about Murder on the Rocks by Misfit Mixers. And this game is a blast.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, because it's not your typical game. This is a party game where you're acting it out. You all get a special role, and you have to take on that persona for the entire evening.
Right.
And unlike a lot of the games we cover on this channel, this is a 21 and up game because it leans heavily into the booziness. Although not fully required.
You don't have to, but
it's designed for
it would probably make
cocktails.
it a little bit more crazy and fun. So it is a social deduction party game where essentially you're at a masquerade at Whiskey Ridge Manor. Either the murderer or you're innocent, and you're trying to, well, establish why you're innocent and hope that you don't get murdered.
You can play with anywhere from 5 to 10 players.
Right.
And at the beginning, one person is the host. But the nice thing is they don't need to be in on anything. They don't need to have any preconceived backstory.
Right.
They can be the murderer. They can be innocent. It all is random chance when you get there.
Yeah, I think one of the starting parts that is really fun, besides just the intrigue and murder aspect, is that the host can also play.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like different than a lot of games, because usually you have to sit out or you're facilitating, which you still are facilitating.
Yeah.
So I was the host, and we'll talk about who was the murderer. But when we played, I got to be the host and still got to play, which I super appreciate as someone that is usually teaching rules.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert.
Yes.
I was the murderer. And I have my card here. I was Skull Blackthorn.
Yes.
The stoic bodyguard.
He was the murderer. I was Vermouth Graves, the disgruntled butler. Serving drinks, disgruntledly. But yeah, I died.
Yeah. So the game is played in 4 rounds.
Yes.
And each one of those rounds, depending on how many players you have, there may or may not be a murder.
We love doing that. We've been doing it since we read the rules and started playing this game. If you've seen Psych, then you know why.
So every person has in front of them a location and a weapon.
Yes.
Again, for most of the players, all but the murderer, those weapons are just benign. They have explainable, let's say it's broken glass. Oh, I dropped my drink because I was getting a little tipsy, and that's why I had broken glass. So if you're innocent, you can have that as an alibi. But if you're the murderer, then you've secretly used that broken glass to stabby.
Right. And so every single person takes on a location and a weapon, and then you just integrate it into your story somehow. If you're innocent, why? You're essentially telling your alibi of why you have this in front of you. If it's a knife, I was cutting cheese, and then this happened.
You're cutting the cheese, all right.
And I had to run back into the other room, and then I don't know why this is here. There also is a book that kind of can help you if you're not like wanting to really create a backstory. It'll tell you all about the manor, why you're there, about the person that inherited this manor and the bloody business that it is.
Plus, it has a bunch of cocktail recipes in there. So if you want to use that not only for the flavor text, but also for the actual flavor of the cocktails, then you're more than welcome to do so.
Which is really, which is really fun. And so, then everybody picks their character. They lay it out in front of them, the location, the weapon, and then you go into the murder phase.
Yes, the dance.
And then everybody,
the dance of death.
You put a song on, and everybody puts on this mask. Yep. And
just like that.
Yep. And then the murderer will reveal themselves. So I will then be the murderer. I will take the vial, the murder weapon, and you will drop it in that person's drink and then tap that person, and then they will reveal to be the victim. And then I will then take clue cards based on the round and how many players, pick some of them and give them to the victim, which then they pick one of them. You're actually trying to do this before the song ends.
Yes.
Because you don't want it to be revealed.
Yeah, and the murder weapon, just to double back on that, you can fill that vial with whatever you want. We use just red food coloring so that it's really easy to tell when you drop it into someone's glass. Kind of gives a little bit of theatrics.
But you can, like they say in one of the things, you can make it nasty. You get repercussions for guessing wrong because you're going to essentially sign tokens that you have to who you think the murderer is. And then they will reveal which we're doing.
So after the victim has chosen which of the clues they want to leave, the clues are pretty abstract. It might show like a cat, a black cat sitting on a book, or a kitchen with a chopped onion in half. And so maybe they're trying to get you to hint that the murderer was in the kitchen, or that the murder weapon was a knife, because there's a chopped onion in the picture. But you have to kind of stretch it and use your imagination to put it together why the clue might lead to this is the murderer.
And while you're creating your backstory, like on the characters, like my character has like glasses that they're holding, so it could be broken glass. And so you're kind of like creating this breadcrumb trail, but the victim is doing it without talking.
That's true. So at the end of 4 rounds, if you are the murderer and you have been identified correctly, which I wasn't, I got off scot-free, and I'll do it
ridiculous. Again. We need to redo it and stop this dude.
So if you are identified correctly, then you have the essence of envy placed into your drink, which again, we used green food coloring for this, and it just kind of, again, adds to the theatrics.
Yeah, because you're envy with the fact that green envy.
Yes. Or if you're not identified correctly, then that gets placed into everyone else's drink. Yeah. Because they're too envious to identify the real murderer.
Right. And again, like, it can be fun to do it with it having negative consequences to that person's drink just tastes awful now. And that kind of makes it more fun because you're like, do we really want this? And then, you know, back when we were all younger, when people would leave the table and you would put salt and pepper in their drinks and stir it around. But it is just like a really great time. I hosted a masquerade.
That's why we're dressed so dapper.
Yeah, exactly. Our wives and friends, we came out and we hosted this masquerade murder party, and it was just a lot of fun because if you drink, it's fun to like have some glasses of whatever, hang out with people. It's kind of like a fun date.
Excuse to get together.
Right,
it's really
exactly.
What it is. Yeah, and you can make it take as long or as short as you want. Right. You can kind of drag it out. If you want to, it can play pretty quick. You know, you can be done in a half hour,
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you want to, you can drag it out.
Like our group,
a couple rounds, you know, however you want to do it.
Like our group, Steven's really good at storytelling, and a lot of our group, we love the story aspect and the intrigue and like the backstory. So we all kind of like elaborately just created our person. Like my butler had been working at the manor for 30 years.
Yeah.
He's pissed. He hates everybody. He's so sick of serving these drinks. So maybe he's the murderer, or maybe I just want revenge because I want more money, or I'm sick of working there, but for some reason I can't leave.
And if you're having a game night too, you could even have this going on in the background of game night.
Right.
You know, in between rounds of whatever game you're playing, you could do another dance of death and then see who gets murdered then.
Right, and you can play a song for the killing phase, and there's the investigation phase where everyone's deliberating who they think did what, and you're going to give tokens, so whoever gets more tokens, then that person has to reveal their identity. And so with high player counts, a murder happens every single round. In lower player counts, it's every other round.
Yeah, and even in the non-murder rounds with fewer player counts, there are still clues getting added each round to that whisper deck.
Even while you're out of the game, which is always fun as the murdered or the victim, you're whispering like beyond the grave to like the whisper deck, which essentially is clues, and trying to direct the rest of the people to like catch the person that murdered you.
It gives the people who are still alive something to go off of in terms of just trying to sniff out that murderer.
Right. And so again, it takes like a lot of classic social deduction games and then just puts a really fun, fresh twist on it.
Yeah.
Again, if you love drinks, you don't drink, it doesn't matter. It's just a blast of a fun time. You want to make the thing have huge consequences where that thing tastes super nasty, which would be really fun to do when nobody knows. And then like you can all switch roles and then make characters as deep and dark as you want it to be, or lighthearted, and
it's different every time.
It comes in this cool
like cocktail
shaker. And then you can dress up and you can do different themes. It's a masquerade, it's a luau. I mean, like
you make a whole day of it.
Right. And if you play in 20 to 30 minutes, everyone switches roles and you go back for seconds. And so it's really accessible. It's a ton of fun. And it's coming to Kickstarter really soon, and we will show you again on the screen like more about like the cards, our time playing it, which was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Everybody kind of came out and showed up and showed out with their outfits.
Yeah,
and we kind of all tried to get into looks that matched our role, and so it was just it was just a really fun time. like, what was it? Like a triple date of like your wife, my wife, brother-in-law, and our sister. Like we just had a great time just throwing it all together, hung up some stuff and kind of made mood setting and did like a whole like night of it. It's like a murder mystery night. Like that you would go and pay like money to do, and you can just do it in your own home now.
Yeah, who doesn't love a good murder mystery?
So it's a blast. Check it out. Like, subscribe, and comment what weapon you would use. So dark to murder somebody.
Well, I'm gonna go the clue route and say lead pipe.
Okay, that was always a good one.
Yeah,
the pistol.
Nice.
But yeah, the game is a really fun time. Let us know. We're Tabletop Vibes. Thanks for watching, and watch out for murder.